for. One thing I do want to just dwell on is that as we are now entering into the month of August, this is the first year since I have started the B.E.L.I.E.V.E ministry that we did not hold a back-to-school concert or event. I say that, and it to a certain extent, I'll be honest, it hurts my heart that we didn't do it. I acknowledge why. I accept why. I thank God for the years that He blessed me with in order to see young men, but specifically young women, go from the ages of, 12, when we first started in 2015, we had 12-year-olds. We had 13, 14, 16-year-old middle schoolers, high schoolers. I've been to countless graduations. So I thank God for all of the lessons that I've learned in ministry, through ministry. Initially, starting ministry, it was actually in teaching Bible study at Pastor Noyer's church on Friday nights is what actually converted me. Because I'd say this all the time, but on them Friday nights, when we was doing the B.E.L.I.V.E and I would take the kids outside to work with them, I knew my Bible. I had a praying mother, but I could be honest before God, I was not no Christian. I was not no Christian. Pastor Noyer just seen me, he knew who my mom was, and he said, hey, aidez-moi avec Timunyo. Then I started looking at the kids and I started seeing how much they just gravitated towards us. They gravitated towards the conversations. They gravitated towards just the teaching. I remember buying the first big old book. The first book I ever bought, it was like the Bible 365. It was a huge book. And it basically went from like the book of Genesis all the way to the end, but it just gave like the stories. And I knew the stories because since I was a child, I just always read the Bible. I've read the Bible every year since I was a child. So going into it and just, having to take the time to teach it is when I actually read the Bible. I was reading it before as practice. I was learning the stories, just because. Nobody told me to. Me learning how to speak Creole was me challenging myself to read the Creole Bible the first time. I got read it in English so many times, let me try it in Creole, and that's how I actually started to learn how to speak Creole. But me teaching it there, them nights at Pastor Noyer's church, just reading it outside, is what actually taught me the Bible. And like I said, I've told this many times, there was many nights, many Friday nights that my mother would not go to those B.E.L.I.E.V.E because I would tell her, no, I'm going somewhere else after. So she would stay home. I would go, bring the kids outside, and then once it hit like 11, 11:30, I send all the kids back inside, and then me, myself, I go out. And I'm out until like 3, 4 in the morning. I was still doing so many things then. And God still accepted me. Because I wasn't teaching the kids to go to the clubs with me. I wasn't teaching the kids how to roll up weed. I wasn't teaching the kids what drinks to drink. I told them about life outside. And just being able to see how they were growing through those conversations, through those moments, it lit a fire inside me where I just realized damn, I seen these kids, I knew these kids since they was babies for that particular group. And now, this is Jeremy, you know what I'm saying? This is Julie, these are little 9-year-old, 10-year-olds. I still got the pictures of Caitlin and Shashu when they were kids, teaching them. And that's actually what got me into just realizing that, you know what? I can't do this half and half. I can't be teaching. And in my mind, I'm telling myself, like, okay, God, I gave you this Friday night because I'm working for you. I'm teaching these kids the Bible. That's enough. Anything else I do, like, you feel me? I'm doing this too. And this was me every day, like, just fighting myself, fighting demons inside myself, trying to just be cool with the demons and be cool with God. Saying, like, you know, I could keep doing this stuff because look at all the stuff I'm doing with the kids. But this is why I preach so much about conviction. This is why I preach so much about planting seeds. Because as the seed of conviction continued to grow inside me, going out just ain't feel right no more. Being in certain rooms just ain't feel right no more. I remember one day I was at in B.E.L.I.E.V.E. And I just stayed there. I ain't even go home that night. I just stayed there. And then around like 7 o'clock in the morning, I get like a phone call. I don't know if I can't remember if it was my mother or my father, but they called me. And then now I'm like talking to a police officer. My father got into a bad accident, a car he just bought. Crazy accident on Forest Hill and Congress. And I remember just jumping in the car with everybody, like no brush our teeth or nothing, still smelling like smoke. Just we drove over there just to go see, like, my mom got into a car accident. It was just so many different moments like that where God is just talking to me, and just little by little I started to just fully invest and fully go in. So in the moment of just starting the Youth B.E.L.I.V.E. ministry, I remember we ain't, you know what I'm saying, because there was nobody to start with. I had the vision. I had like the calling. At this moment in time, Pastor Noye done kicked me out of his church already. I started to go to Pastor Samuel's church, and they started just putting my name in some situations. Some girl ended up pregnant. I never had sex with her, and somehow I got her pregnant. So I realized, like, man, bro, there's too much politics inside church. I can't do nothing with these churches. One of the reasons that Pastor Noye kicked me out was because he kept telling me no. Everything that I seen that was going to actually be good, to actually capture these kids, he seen it more so as like I was making a power play to take over the kids or something like that. Well, I'm trying to invest into the church. I'm not asking for no money, just asking the parents to drop off their kids. So once I seen all that, I'm like, man, nobody's investing into the youth for real. So I remember just feeling it, like I gotta start this, I gotta do it. And my mom told me one day, she said, man, oh, suju en de moun, trois moun, whatever, just start. I'm like, all right. I went to Pastor Jiwa's church, and I seen Brandy, Rachel, and Nana. They danced to a song called Broken, one of my favorite songs. They danced to the song Broken, and there's no cameras in there. You know, Pastor Jiwa got like a smaller church, but like the dance is like, I've never seen praise dance before. Like this is like 2015, 2014. I'm like, so I got some kind of Android back then, and I just remember I'm recording it. I'm like, yo, they can't just be doing this here. Like, with these Haitians not even clapping. Y'all don't see what these, like, I can tell the practice, and I can tell because they doing all these moves. Everybody's doing their own verse. And I'm like, yo, nah, like, we gotta put this somewhere where people could see it. And I remember having that video, and Sam, I got her telling me to send it to her, please send it to her so she can have it, so she can show them. I remember Rachel and them like asking to see it. And literally, like, you know, I'm telling you, I'm just speaking to my mom. She's like, man, just start. And as these weeks going, like, God is just showing me how to start. So boom, have the conversations. I speak to the parents. I speak to Rasha's parents, Brandy parents, Nana parents. Obviously, Shashu was always, baby girl was always right there with me everywhere I go. Caitlin. Then Jeannie came along. And then because of Shashu, we got Jennifer, Esther, and Jemima. And we used to just go to the park, gun club, outside. This was when Rosebud was there too when we first started. Just at the park every Saturday. And that grew into something. I remember our first practice, I told the girls, like, hey, we finna have a concert at John I. Leonard. Because I went to a concert at John I. Leonard. I'm like, yeah, we finna do it there. And I'm looking at them and they like, the high school? They in high school too. I'm like, yeah, we finna get the whole stadium, like the whole auditorium for us. I don't know how to do it, but I'm just telling them like, yeah, we finna do it. So this is the end of 2015, so now 2016, we realizing like when we finna do it, we're gonna call it a back to school concert. I don't know who made that first flyer for us. It was so cap. It was so cap. Promotion, no promotion. I just thought, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna talk about it on the radio, and people finna come. Ew. The days are coming, man. The girls are practicing. We reaching out to other people. Me and Stephanie that worships at Salem, their lead worshiper. Me and Stephanie did that first concert together. We hosted that first concert together. It was literally just us in there. The whole auditorium, like 500, I don't know how many seats in there. It was just us in there and the other people that were performing. A couple people came out, and I just remember like, just looking at the girls, I was more proud of the fact that we got a high school for ourselves. Like going through that whole process, getting the insurance, coming in, setting up the sound, going all the way to the top. I remember as a kid, they wouldn't let us go up there, but now I'm in my 20s, I'm up there, can't nobody tell me nothing. I'm pressing all the buttons I want, using the lights. It was just a moment that I realized like, yeah, this is it. And everybody was just so happy. I think we went to like Checkers or something after the concert was done. And then every year after that, we had a different concert. And for years of just doing these concerts once a year, obviously it started to grow. Obviously people started to know more about us. They didn't care that we were called the Youth B.E.L.I.V.E. It's B.E.L.I.V.E. Everywhere we went, we performing everywhere. Gabriel vini avec mesdames yo, côté Gabriel avec mesdames yo. And that's what got us to where we are today. I think it was 2019, we had that last concert, not a last concert, but it was 2019 that we did a concert at Salem. And mind you, like, this is like 2-3 years later, we done already did like 3 other concerts. It's like the 4th one. And I remember them first couple concerts, the parents were the one that was like forcing their kids, bringing their kids, but the kids were having a good time. And then that 2019 concert, I remember just walking outside after the concert. It was the kids that drove there. Like, it wasn't the parents that forced them to come no more. And they like, everybody just in the parking lot at Salem just having a good time. And I realized at that moment, like, man, they want this. We got to do this more. So I started talking to pastors, started talking to different people, trying to see how we can find a place to do these concerts like every month. But it wasn't going to be a concert, but just like, something like this once a month. And that's what started us to actually get to a point where we are now. We've obviously been through our ups, our downs. My hand before God, I have no regrets in ministry. I thank God for every moment. I thank God for every lesson. I thank God for those moments that like everything is crashing outside and I just go to a practice and Shashu will come sit next to me. And then after Shashu was, Ito Moon, she don't come sit next to me no more. Tika come out of the blue. I remember the first day we met Tika. The second day, we met Tika at a basketball concert, because now, basketball tournament. Now we doing big stuff. We not only doing back to school concert no more, now we doing picnics, we doing basketball tournaments, because we in February Messi. I remember her mom presented like Tika, and I remember her brother being in the back. And at that point, we was doing our Bible studies outside at the beach. Outside. I'm not used to this. So we was outside. You remember what I told y'all, the first practices was at the park. Like everything's always outside. Being inside these four walls limits us. But anyway, I remember we was at the beach doing the Bible study. And before Bible study started, at this point, Tika started coming. Her mom would bring her, mom would stay, her mom would drop her off, come back and pick her up. And I remember just, before we started, I'm walking around the table, just saying hi to everybody or just poking everybody like I always do. And I remember hearing somebody like doing like foot on it, like humming, like, oh, I heard it. Like, yo. At that moment in time, I put check, because the only person that we had in the ministry that could sing was Jeannie. We go perform, Nini. Tu connais nous allons performer. We put Jeannie on the stage to come and do break every chain, everywhere. She's still in her praise dance dress. Everywhere. Break every chain. No music. Break every chain. But now we found another person. Or Tika's the reason that we started church for real. Because we actually had like a worship leader. Jeannie knew how to sing, but she doesn't like know Shadespel. She doesn't. After Tika, we started getting musicians. After Tika, we started doing everything, and we just grew to be like church. So like I said, I have no regrets in ministry, man. I see where we are today. Obviously, there's so many individuals that were a part of the ministry that's no longer a part of the ministry or have taken a break from the ministry. It hurts sometimes, but I understand it's all for the better. I understand that sometimes separation actually helps individuals grow. I understand that some things are meant for seasons. And I just thank God that I never instilled any ill things inside these kids. Like, I didn't give them, only thing I know for sure that I gave all the kids, and excuse me for saying this on the stage, is nigga. Every person in the ministry, because of Gabriel, says nigga anywhere they go, in any conversation, starting with Catherine down to Jeannie or anybody. Like, that's one thing they get from me. I get that, but outside of that, man, we only had good times. And I just wanted to share that, man, because this is literally, we would have had the concert on Saturday that just passed. And we didn't have for the first time since 2016. So that's a big thing, man. But everything happens for a reason. So thank you guys for listening.